Are you actually practicing wellness, or are you just performing it? There is a quiet exhaustion that comes from trying to make self-care look correct to an audience. But real healing happens in the moments no one sees. Practicing wellness without external validation begins with a quiet shift in attention. Instead of asking how healthy your routine looks to others, you begin asking how it actually feels inside your body and mind. Real wellness is rarely dramatic or photogenic. It often happens in small, ordinary moments that nobody sees. It is the decision to go to sleep earlier even when there is no one to praise you for it. It is choosing a walk in the fresh air because your mind feels heavy, not because it will make a perfect social media story. When wellness becomes something you perform for an audience, even a silent digital one, it slowly loses its purpose. The focus shifts from caring for yourself to proving something about yourself. The culture of modern wellness often encourages this performance. Perfect morning routines, aesthetic meal preparation, long meditation sessions filmed in soft sunlight. None of these things are inherently wrong, but they can quietly create pressure. When wellness becomes something that must be documented, shared, or admired, it stops being personal. Instead of asking what your body needs today, you start asking whether your habits look disciplined enough, impressive enough, or consistent enough to meet invisible standards. This is where burnout often begins, not because the habits themselves are unhealthy, but because the motivation behind them is rooted in approval rather than self-awareness. True self-care grows from listening. The body speaks constantly through subtle signals. Sometimes it asks for movement, sometimes for stillness. Sometimes it wants nourishing food, and other times it simply wants rest. When you practice wellness for internal reasons, these signals become easier to hear. You notice the difference between feeling refreshed after a workout and feeling drained because you pushed yourself when you needed recovery. You learn the difference between eating for energy and eating to satisfy rules. Over time, this kind of listening builds trust between your mind and body, and that trust becomes the foundation of sustainable well-being. One of the quiet challenges in practicing internal wellness is letting go of comparison. Social media tends to present wellness as a universal formula, something that looks the same for everyone. Wake up at the same time, drink the same green drink, follow the same habits. But bodies are not identical machines, and lifestyles vary widely. What restores one person may exhaust another. What feels grounding to someone else may feel restrictive to you. Developing a routine that truly supports you means allowing your version of wellness to look different. It might be slower, simpler, or less structured. The goal is not perfection but alignment with how you actually live. A powerful way to reconnect with intrinsic motivation is to ask gentle questions rather than imposing strict rules. Instead of forcing yourself to complete a rigid routine, you might pause and ask what would support your energy right now. Some days the answer will be movement, other days it will be quiet reflection, and sometimes it will simply be rest. This flexibility does not weaken discipline, it strengthens it. Discipline rooted in self-respect is far more sustainable than discipline rooted in pressure. Another part of practicing wellness privately is learning to appreciate progress that no one else sees. The calm feeling after breathing deeply for a few minutes. The clarity that comes after stepping away from constant digital noise. The sense of stability that develops when you consistently give yourself small moments of care. These internal shifts rarely receive applause, yet they are often the most meaningful changes. They build emotional resilience, mental clarity, and physical balance over time. There is also a quiet freedom in letting wellness remain personal. When habits are no longer tied to validation, you can experiment more honestly. You can try a practice and drop it if it does not serve you, without worrying about consistency for appearances. You can rest without guilt, adjust your routines when life changes, and adapt your habits as your needs evolve. Wellness becomes a living relationship rather than a fixed identity. Listening inward also helps dissolve the idea that wellness must always look productive. Rest, play, creativity, and simple presence are often just as important as structured habits. Sitting outside and noticing the breeze on your skin may not look like a powerful routine, yet it can calm the nervous system more effectively than forcing yourself through another task. When you stop measuring wellness by visible effort, you begin to recognize the value of these quieter experiences. Over time, practicing wellness without external validation reshapes your sense of self. Your habits become expressions of care rather than evidence of discipline. Your routine becomes a support system rather than a performance. And perhaps most importantly, your well-being becomes something you feel deeply rather than something you constantly try to prove.